In a world where societal norms often equate a woman's happiness with being in a romantic relationship, the choice to live alone without a partner can seem perplexing. Yet, for many women, this decision is not born out of loneliness or failure, but rather a profound journey of self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This video explores the deeper psychological and emotional motivations behind why some women choose solitude, drawing from insights inspired by Carl Jung's teachings on individuation and the shadow. Embracing solitude as a path to wholeness. The modern narrative surrounding women who live alone often paints them as lonely, broken, or emotionally damaged. However, this perception couldn't be further from the truth. These women are not victims of circumstance. They are intentional choosers of solitude, seeking growth and healing beyond the confines of traditional relationships. Their solitude is not an absence, but a presence, a sanctuary where they confront their inner wounds, fears, and traumas, ultimately achieving individuation, the process of becoming whole and authentic. Emotional independence and the disruption of traditional roles. A woman who does not rely on a man for emotional fulfillment disrupts deeply ingrained societal expectations. Her independence threatens those who benefit from or are still trapped by emotional dependency. This disruption challenges the myth of emotional dependency, revealing a brutal truth. Many men do not know how to navigate relationships with women who do not need saving. Similarly, many women are still learning to recognize themselves in this new paradigm of self-sufficiency. Carl Jung once said that everything we deny in ourselves becomes part of our shadow. Women who choose solitude embody this collective shadow, the parts of ourselves society suppresses. They represent what many dream of becoming, but few have the courage to embody. These women do not scream for love. They whisper their choices. They do not put themselves on display to attract attention. They retreat to preserve themselves. They are less interested in charming princes and more focused on their own peace, which makes people uncomfortable. Healing through solitude. Many women who live alone have experienced painful relationships, emotional abandonment, or codependency. However, these experiences have not left them bitter. Instead, they have used these lessons to grow. Their solitude is not born out of open wounds, but from healed scars and newfound clarity. They have stopped believing in superficial notions of love and have begun to understand that real love never demands self-denial. This journey of healing is not easy. It requires confronting childhood wounds, unspoken abandonments, and attachments disguised as love. The decision to be alone comes after a series of disappointments that stop hurting and start teaching. What others may perceive as coldness is actually emotional maturity. Maturity demands presence, depth, and truth, qualities that many find intimidating because they require a level of emotional responsibility that few are willing to embrace. High standards rooted in self-respect. Rather than settling for unhealthy or superficial connections, women who live alone set high standards rooted in self-respect. They seek meaningful, reciprocal relationships built on presence, not promises. They no longer want just any company. They want reciprocity. They are no longer attracted to empty promises, but to genuine presence. This shift in perspective is not arrogance, it is a recognition of their worth. These women long for soul-level bonds, connections where there is no domination or submission, where both individuals can grow alongside each other without dimming their colors or silencing their pain. They refuse to accept anything less than what aligns with their true selves. This refusal is not born out of pride, but out of integrity. They understand that presence should never be begged for. It should be invited. A new archetype emerges. The emergence of women who live alone represents a shift in feminine energy. These women are emotionally sovereign, intuitive, and no longer willing to be shaped by external expectations. They live by their own essence, not by convention. They hear phrases like, "You're too picky," or "You should be more open," and smile a calm, steady, almost ironic smile. They know that what many call pickiness is simply the bare minimum, the minimum it took them decades to realize they deserve. This new archetype challenges invisible structures, questions old patterns, and breaks silent emotional contracts that once dictated a woman's worth based on her relationship status. These women inspire change, subtly shifting cultural narratives around love, independence, and self-worth. They become beacons for others, lighting little fires along the way for those who are also awakening to their own power. Freedom and presence. Over validation. Women who live alone find peace in solitude and do not crave applause or social approval. Their confidence is quiet but powerful, and they choose themselves unapologetically. They no longer fight for attention. They radiate presence. They are no longer waiting to be chosen. They do the choosing. This reversal of logic confuses those who still try to control the feminine narrative, but these women have already crossed the threshold into a new realm of self-awareness. Their strength lies in their ability to nourish themselves with silence and warmth. They are not unreachable. They simply no longer allow themselves to be invaded. There is a vast difference between opening your heart and letting yourself be torn apart. They open, yes, but only for those who come in truth, not with rehearsed speeches or empty promises. Their intuition has become sharp, and their energy acts as a filter. They can sense from afar what lacks depth and do not hesitate to walk away. Transformation and influence. The transformation these women undergo is archetypal. They tap into ancient wisdom, an old memory that women were not born to serve but to express, not to be shaped but to overflow. In accessing this memory, something awakens within them, a wild woman, intuitive and emotionally sovereign. Though alone, she is far from lost. She is in communion with something greater, her own destiny. This woman no longer lives to fit in. She lives to expand. She radiates presence and embodies a rare kind of wisdom born in silence. She understands that being alone is not a punishment but a vow of loyalty to her own soul. Her journey gives up instant validation in exchange for deeper truth. When love eventually arrives, it will not come to fill her, but to overflow. The power of choosing oneself. Living alone is not about rejecting love. It's about refusing to settle for anything less than what aligns with one's true self. It is a courageous act of self-love and authenticity, echoing Carl Jung's teachings on individuation and inner wholeness. These women represent a living symbol of emotional freedom, a reminder that it is possible to rebuild without hurry, fear, or needing to prove anything to anyone. As society continues to evolve, so too must our understanding of love, relationships, and independence. Women who live alone are not anomalies. They are pioneers forging new paths towards self-discovery and empowerment. Their journey inspires others to question old paradigms and embrace a new kind of love, one that begins with reconciliation with oneself, feeds on silence, presence, and truth, and cannot be negotiated, begged for, or disguised. If you resonate with this message, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Are you living authentically? Are you honoring your worth? Remember, the love that comes after self-discovery will not be salvation. It will be celebration. And when that realization blooms, everything changes.